What's up, everyone? If this is your first time, my name is Kobe Cornell Boone. Thank you for taking the time to click on this video. If you're not currently a subscriber to my channel, I do hope this video provides value to you such that you might say, hey, I want to stick around, or I want to see what other videos this creator might be putting out there. So today, I want to talk about something that I've actually wanted to discuss for a while since becoming a homeowner. And I don't know how long this video is going to be. I'm just going to go through it. It might sound like a rant. I promise it's not a rant. But I feel like for me, someone who's 28 years old, going into my fourth year of marriage, that sounds crazy to say, but been married to my amazing wife for 3 years, a new father, a parent. It's super important to share with other guys like myself or other families who are looking at the house market now, the housing market, and either going from maybe a condo to home or new build, hoping to get a new build, a single family home, or from renting an apartment to making that decision now and jumping out in this market. So I just want to dive full in this video and give you maybe some do's, some don'ts, some things that we did as well. So I'm gonna look on Pinterest and some of the things we downloaded when it came to building a new home. So let's get it. Boom. So first things first, houses ain't what they used to be. Like facts. I actually asked one of my uncles how much his home was. I think he bought like around before the 2008 crash type era, and his home was like $125,000, $130,000 for his house. Not to put his business out there or anything, but you don't know numbers, whatever. So I remember thinking in my head, like looking at his home, beautiful home. I'm talking about your old school, like hardwood floors, fully open concept, like 10-foot plus, I mean, probably 20-foot tall ceilings, and like the living room area, just a beautiful home, land, driveway, garage, the fixings, whatever the case may be. And when we look now for our generation as millennials at some of the homes and the cost of the homes that we're looking at today, not only have interest rates that I think currently to this month are in the 8% range in October. What is this? Jesus, no, December. Jeez, time is flying. December of 2023. But the home prices are so much higher than what our parents made. Now, a caveat to that is that we, generally speaking, as a generation, are making more money than what our parents are making as well, or from their generation, folks who were buying homes in the 80s and the 90s. But the differentiating factor, if you will, comes down to the value of the homes. So what I'm going to speak to is being someone who purchased a new build home in 2022 and in a master plan community. I think those three factors are what I want to kind of focus on in this video today. So what is a master plan community? A master plan community is a community that has either one or several different builders who have their different elevations and styles within a fixated community. It could be thousands of homes, literally thousands of homes, or it could be a couple of hundred homes. It can kind of differentiate. The sale of master plan communities is on, typically they're close to, I would say, a good ISD, so a good school district. They typically have your amenities. You're going to have some type of pool. Most often, you're going to have some type of pool, or you might even have a clubhouse type situation, depending on how high end of the amenity center is. You might have some little parks, walking trails, hiking trails. Boy, I'm about to tear that up. Whatever the case may be. It's like your master plan community. And the biggest thing for that, for most people, is the second word. It's just community. It's having your neighbors, whatever the case may be, close by, meet new friendships, new relationships. Since we've been here and ours and starting a family, and other people who have started families, a lot of folks are waiting till they got that home in the suburb community, if you will, to start having kids, start having a family, right? So that's the option that a lot of folks have gone, including ourselves. Things that you don't kind of realize, and I know there was two other points I wanted to hit on, but things you kind of don't realize. So in 2022, when we bought, it was get it now, forever hold your peace type of situation. So we had been priced out from a home previously before in the northern Dallas area. So we're in DFW, Dallas Fort Worth, Texas. So we had been priced out before from a home that we had to back out of that wasn't a great situation for us. Mostly because of the neighborhood in the area, the affordability wasn't too bad at that time for us. But the area, I would definitely say this. You need to do a criminal search on the area for which you're going to buy your home. Don't just go based off of face value, cost of the home, whatever the case may be. Like, I'm looking to the camera with this one. Do a criminal search on the area and see who lives and resides in that area. I'm gonna leave that where it is. It's totally free. Look it up, Google it, do that. Necessary to do. So needless to say, we backed out of that contract on a home, and we were like, man, like it's gotten to the point where I think the national average for a home is around like $415,000 or something like that. Somebody can fact check me in the comments on that one, but it's around like 400K. I think is the national average of a home. Well, in Dallas, Texas, straight up, unless you're living in like a not so welcoming area, you're not gonna be in actual Dallas, and that's most cities in America. Like, you're gonna be on the outskirts of the city. Now, the caveat to that is you have to be willing as a new homeowner, especially if you're a young couple. Let's say you're into activities like hiking, running. Let's say if I wouldn't say club life, but if you're into like nightlife a little bit, you know what I'm saying, into good vibes, whatever the case may be. If you move into a master plan community that's in your suburbs, oftentimes you're gonna be at least a good 25 minutes plus outside of that community. Of course, outside of that metropolitan city. Now, with that, you got to take into account traffic. That's one. Quality of life. Could be restaurants that you're not going to see when you start to move out 25, 30, 40, 45 minutes outside the metropolitan city, as well as just ain't nobody gonna be coming to see you like that. Like, I'm gonna just keep it real. Like, when you stay that far out, like when you stay that far out, and it goes both ways. It's like folks aren't gonna be so inclined to come and see you because you live so far away from them, and they might live outside of the metropolitan area on another side of the metroplex. That's tongue twisters all over today. Or it could be that, like, hey, you know, you have to have events or get-togethers earlier in the day, or you have to have folks over like for brunch as opposed to coming over and doing a movie night with friends and family, because folks got to drive an hour and some change back home, and you want to take into account their safety, security, and, you know, driving on the road late. So these are things that when you kind of jump on the prices or you do your research, you make a decision, you don't realize how small things can wear on you over time. And in a master plan community, it would definitely do so. So I'll tell you guys straight up, most of these homes, if you drive through these communities, they are, let's say, 40-foot lots, 50-foot lots, 50, 60, 70, 80. You start to get into more of like your, I would say, estate type homes, my personal opinion. That's in Texas, the width of the lot of the home. With that, in a lot of these communities where there's thousands of homes being built, you might be able to see your neighbor, like, and your neighbor might be able to see you, like, literally walking through the house, because these builders are taking full advantage of how much land they have, you know, that they've purchased. They're stacking these homes right on top of each other. So though you're no longer in a rental situation where you're renting an apartment, you're renting a condo, whatever the case may be, and that mixed use development, inner city type of feel, it can very much so feel just the same, even being in a master plan community or being in a very condensed or overpopulated, if you will, very populated neighborhood community. So these are, and I'm just kind of talking through these things. I don't exactly have a checklist, but these are things that you want to consider. One, when choosing, hey, we've saved up some cash, we want to get a house. Do we want to go get an older home? You know, again, I'm going back to my 3 points. 2022, we're like, hey, we wanted a new build home. We wanted somewhere to start off saying fresh, this is ours, like from the beginning. That was us. That was our decision. Two, interest rates. There are opportunities now that I'm seeing where people, it probably was like that too, but then I don't remember it being promoted as much. It depends on the builder, whatever the specific builder offers you as incentives for you purchasing a home. Sometimes they'll give you cash towards close. Sometimes they'll give you cash towards or credits or incentives towards maybe the design studio so you can get a different type of bathtub or something of that nature. Or like now what's really popular, which it should be, is buying down your interest rate. So when your interest rate is really high, that overall affects your mortgage payment because your interest rate is higher, right? So I didn't really understand that until I started paying the mortgage and looking at the note and saying, okay, this is how much the actual mortgage is taken out. This is what insurance and whatever else is coming out for the home. This is how much interest is on this home. And then not even talking about if you have PMI insurance, right? Which is private mortgage insurance, I believe, which isn't insurance for you. It's insurance on your lender in case you can't make your mortgage. Sometimes you can drop it, sometimes you can't. It just depends on how much you've actually paid either down initially on the home or how much how many consecutive payments you've made or how long you actually been in the home in general. You can get that PMI dropped, and for some people, that PMI is substantial enough to say, hey, that's some extra dollars back in my pocket. So if there was any hack that I have for today's video, if you're already a homeowner, I would definitely check in to see could you get the PMI drop to save a couple of extra bucks a month. But all in all, I believe for anybody today who's making a decision on purchasing a home, from my own personal experience going on 2 years of being in this home, a new build home, I would genuinely say if you are a single person and you're looking to be married, you want to be around closer to the city, you want to be kind of in the loop of what's happening, your networking events. Again, you have a very social lifestyle. It can be kind of lonely, even with having a spouse when you live 45 minutes, an hour. Shoot, some people live crazy far out. Like could not do it. But like when you go for affordability and you move out, it can be very lonely. It can be very taxing on your psyche, on your mental health. So for somebody that I would mentor, some of my mentees or whatever, I would say, hey, if you're single, get you a condo in the inner city. Get you a townhome, if you will. I'm a huge fan of those for people who are single, looking to be married, dating, whatever the case may be, making that transition because you have an opportunity to be closer to social life, to events, to activities, things of that nature. And it's easier. It might be easier for you in that case to resell because you're in a happening area, if you will, than if you move out. Because when you move out, whether it's a new build home in a master plan community or whether you move out and move into a older home with the intention of renovating and bringing it up to speed, whatever the case may be, you're going to have to make decisions. You always got to count your costs for whatever your risk factor is, but you're going to have to make decisions that you may not be able to benefit or immediately reap the fruit of till years down the line. That might be great for somebody who intends to stay in West Bubblegum for 5 years or more. You know what I'm saying? I think I looked up a documentary one time on, who pays more over time, and it was like renters pay renters typically save money on renting as opposed to owning a home up to like 12 years. But after that 12-year mark, people who bought and purchased their home, after that 12-year mark, year 13, year 14, typically start to see actual equity that like is higher than the amount of money they save by actually paying a mortgage. Because the reality is, historically, we've seen homes continue to go up. And sadly, for folks who haven't gotten in yet pre-2020, and that was us, right? Like we didn't get a house before 2020. We couldn't afford it. The homes are going to continue to go up. And if interest rates go down, even if they readjust them, I'm not an expert, but this is just looking at news and whatever the case may be, all they're going to do is then raise up the home cost because now there's more affordability there because the interest rates aren't as high. And I've actually talked to builders looking at our next home who have said the same thing. Like, yeah, like now is actually the time to buy. But again, I'm not a realtor. I'm not a CPA. Make your own decisions. That's just some of the conversations I've had. So what am I saying in this video? Why am I making this video? I think it's important for you to count the costs. I have building a new construction home, how to prepare for your design studio in Portland. Pinterest you can get on and they have these great must-haves in your home, nice to have things like white walls, hardwood flooring in the main areas is a huge one, coming from somebody who has vinyl flooring and a dog that I love who just taps, and taps. And it's not even her fault. All over the floor because they give you like this cheap vinyl in the floor plan. It's just things that pre-wiring for surround sound, for example, huge one, especially if you're a big movie person and you gotta change a common area or a loft type situation to your media room, a waterfall island, marble looking quartz countertops. That might be something somebody might or might not like. Single basin kitchen sink. There's some garbage disposal. There's so many things that, man, if you're a first time, I just call a spade a spade. If you're a first time person buying a home, let's say your parents maybe didn't have a home or had an older home, and you don't know these questions to ask your builder, or you're not exactly sure, how you should go about it. I I beseech, I don't know what word to put. Like I give this to you. Do your time and your research before buying a home. And I don't want you guys to think on this video at all that I'm like discontent. I'm truly grateful for the home we have. Recognize we are truly blessed, man. Like I said, it was a journey for us to get into our home. However, you do learn along the way. You learn different things, and like I think in today's market, it's so competitive. I remember when we weren't quite ready yet, financially to have a home, and having friends who were buying and going to weekend bidding wars. My guys driving around Texas, and I remember it being lines for people going up to builders' offices and so much of an influx of people from out of town. I'm sure wherever you guys are watching this video as well, like New York was moving to Texas heavy, California still moving to Texas heavy, and folks coming paying cash. Seen it with my own eyes. Like folks, cash money buying homes, and you like, dang, I'm just trying to get enough for a down payment. Let's keep it real. Like you owe it to yourself to do the research that you need to understand and know what housing situation works best for you and your family. And I would say, dang near most important, affordability too, but like dang near most important, your lifestyle. When you buy a home, let me look directly at the camera. When you buy a home, you're making an investment. For a lot of people, it's one of the biggest investments that you'll ever make in your life. As young people, I would say for millennials, we have this fluidity about us when it comes to travel, when it comes to just cultural diversity, experiences, wanting to go places, do things, and just experience life. So for a lot of folks who I talk to or my age or whatever, it is the idea of staying in one place for 5 or 10 years. It can sound kind of like ball and chain. It really can. However, I am starting to see, and I've listened to older folks and I've seasoned folks, shout out my seasoned folks, time does fly. God knows it does. Time really does fly. So if you make a decision to move to a developing area, which we definitely did, you'll start to see the growth. If you choose the area correctly, you'll start to see new roads coming in. You'll start to see new grocery stores, hop into group chats and stuff like that on Facebook or YouTube, see what people are doing, moving to that area. You can look up the city council meetings, go to a city council meeting, see what their plans are for that area, see what their population growth estimates are. It is definitely one of those cases where you can really benefit. You can really benefit on playing the long game. You can definitely play the long game. I would vouch to say to you, if you are a person who's trying to make that level of decision to be in a place that long, do the research on alternative methods of housing or whatever the case may be that might be more fixated for where you are in life at that time. So you don't have the I don't want to use the word discontent, but you don't have like the reservations or the remorseful feelings of moving to a place that maybe you weren't quite ready for, or you weren't quite what would be the word? That you weren't like willing to kind of stick it out with. That could be a terrible feeling to be paying these high mortgages, for what these houses are today, and you're not 100% in love with the place. So I want to wrap up this video. I hope this was pretty good for you guys and sharing some context. I'll wrap it up by saying this. What is like an ideal home housing type situation, whatever? I got two. Because it depends on the season of life. If you're young, in my mind, and you don't have kids yet, maybe you're dating or you're dating or you're already engaged, married, or have a spouse, and you're early in your marriage, a mixed use property is like my ideal space. Mixed use. It's just you, your spouse, maybe a dog, $2, $3, whatever. That's like the ideal space. Mixed use is when it's typically like in your ritzy kind of areas, not so much like rich areas, but like in Charlotte, North Carolina, it might be a South End, or I'm thinking about North Carolina. Charlotte, North Carolina, it could be a NODA, for example. In Dallas, Texas, it might be your Bishop Arts area. It might be part of I want to say part of Oak Cliff, but yeah, it could be Old Oak Cliff. It could be like your areas that have already been like gentrified or whatever the case may be. I'm trying to think of the other area that's over there. Gosh, can't think of it. But anyway, like your areas that have been revitalized, they brought new places to grocery shop. Your Whole Foods is in there. They put a little hiking or biking trail park, and they've got maybe the little 3-story type condos or townhome situation. Not a 3-story condo, but like they have your condominium building. They have like your 3-story type zones. Like you can walk, you can bike to the grocery store. They have things happening around it. Like those would be Dallas. I was thinking about Mockingbird area. Yeah, like those would be the ideal places, I think, for a young couple or a young person who's looking to get married, and like you want to be in that next phase of housing. You don't want to be in an apartment per se, but you're in that transition to having that single family home, that white picket fence type lifestyle, if you will. So I think that's huge because you get this opportunity to get the feel of what a house is, to not have to have a maintenance team to call whenever something breaks, and you kind of have your own ownership of the property. You might have a little patch of grass. They give you a little square of grass, just enough for you to park your car, but you're still close to kind of everything. I think that next phase of when, for me, and this is all like my opinion, that next phase to me of home buyer is when like you've done that lifestyle, you've been closer in the city, you're married and you have a child, or you're expecting, maybe you have more than one dog, you have two, and you want to stretch out a little bit. You want to stretch out. You want to have a little space. You want to have some type of front yard and backyard. You're not against shared amenities, but you want more of like either a gated or a closed off community, if you will, more of a private community where you have an HOA, or you kind of know who's going to be in this area. Like I said, you got young children, whatever the case may be. That might be where you make that next decision to say, hey, let's move out of the city a little bit. Let's move to the suburbs. This would be in Dallas, Texas. This would be like your Frisco's. Oak Point's a little far, a little amped over there, but like your Frisco's, your Richardson's, beautiful area. Love that area. Your Planos, that type of vibe, like Capel, Irvin, like just naming DFW, but like that's that next step to me is like, okay, either I'm gonna get an older home, renovate it, make some upgrades to it, or maybe it's already been done, but I got a bigger lot. Older homes be having bigger lots. Like you gonna get that 0.25, quarter of an acre, depending on where you far out, might get about half an acre with an older home in one of these communities, or go master plan, but not have thousands of homes. Maybe it's a smaller, more condensed master plan community with 50, 75, 100 homes. But you have a good lot size, fence, in area that you can kind of call your own home. I know this probably sounds like a monologue, you guys. I hope this video gives you guys context to kind of think about. But that would be the progression that if I would suggest to you guys, like I would my little cousins, my family members and friends, like buying a new build home post the 2020 area where houses are today, how important it is that the home that you buy matches the lifestyle that you want to live. If there's nothing else I said today, make sure that your home that you buy matches the lifestyle that you want to live for that next, I would say, 2 to 3 to 5+ years. That's super important now, especially when folks aren't able to pick up and go easily as quickly, like jump into a home, jump into another home type situation, at least for the market, how it is now in December 2023. That would be my advice. That's how I would do it. Trust your journey. So boom, if you like this video, if you feel like you rock with this type of content, just organic, rock with me. Subscribe, leave a comment below, like it, share it with a friend. Would love to get positive feedback on the video and the channel. Hopefully you found this valuable and found great content in this. God bless. Take care.